Alright, peace and greetings, YouTubers. So, the 2016 VMAs, let's just jump right into it. So I have to start by saying that this year's specific show was so much better than that mess they had last year. Like, when I tell you that last year was just absolutely terrible and atrocious, it was one of the worst VMAs I have ever witnessed. Like, that might have been their worst one. It was just such a forgettable show. The content sucked. It wasn't diverse. There weren't a lot of memorable performances. It was just absolutely terrible. Like, I know for sure that there were some interns and somebody to get fired after that crap last year. They should have just canceled the whole thing if it was going to be that terrible. So this year was a major step up. So I had a fond appreciation of what they did this year. And the biggest thing that I appreciated was, one, black people were actually invited. Alright, like literally this was the Black People Awards, because it's like I don't know, there must have been a glitch in the invite machine and they just invited every black entertainer that could be there tonight, because this could have been on the BET networks. Like, this was the Black People Awards for real. It was like a big giant family barbecue, family reunion. They got Mary J. Blige out there kicking it, Naomi Campbell's there, Serena Williams is kicking it, Drake showed up at the last minute. I mean, they were getting it in and I had no complaints at all. Some of y'all might have felt some kind of way about it being a little too urban, but you'll get over it. But yeah, literally the only highlight I can think of from the ceremony from 2015 was Nicki popping off on Miley. Other than that, I don't even remember that show. So this year was such a step up. And we're going to start with what opened the show, and that was Rihanna. She was the recipient of the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award. And originally when I heard that she was getting that specific award, I kind of looked a little sideways, because I feel like there are a few other people who've been waiting in line for that award, specifically Missy Elliott. I think she continues to be overlooked, and we can't deny the fact that when it comes to music videos, she has some of the most iconic music videos known to man. She is somebody who has been able to basically, break barriers and set the standard for other entertainers to make sure they put effort into the visual that they present with their song. And so she keeps getting overlooked, so I kind of feel some way about that. And my thing about this specific award, as much as I love Rihanna, and I think that she has a monster catalog of hits, and she's done so much in the industry. She's the queen of the digital list and most #1 Billboard Hot 100 singles. I think what she got, like number 13 now or 12? I don't remember how many she has, but she has a lot. And so I think even if they would have made up an award to just reward her for all that she's done in such a short amount of time, that would have been cool. But as far as videos, I was like, I don't think Rihanna has a lot of iconic videos. I don't think her videos are what really make her. I think it's more so that she has a strong catalog of singles, and the actual videos that go with the singles, she has a lot of very forgettable videos. She has a lot of videos that are just okay, or they're videos that are cool. But if I had a favorite video, it probably would have been We Found Love or Where Have You Been. But overall, I was like, I don't know if I would have given her that specific kind of award for that kind of accomplishment, because this is something where if you look at the other people who've been recipients, it's Michael Jackson, it's Madonna, it's Janet, it's Britney, it's Beyonce, and so all those people have had a bunch of really great iconic videos. I don't know if you can say the same about Rihanna, and it's not a diss about her. I just think Rihanna's craft and her brand is the music and the songs that she puts out. The videos are kind of just the icing on the cake. She opened the show with her performance though, and what I will say is she had 4 performances, and the first one I actually enjoyed a lot. I enjoyed that she tried to do something a little bit different than what she's been doing. If you follow me, you know that I have been a heavy critic of Rihanna for the longest, but over the past few years, I've kind of taken my foot off her neck, because I saw her grow as an artist. And around the time that she dropped like the Talk That Talk album and Unapologetic, I was like, okay, she's actually gotten a lot better as an entertainer and everything else, and even her music has gotten a lot better. And so I like that she tried to dance, and she tried to do her, she did just enough choreography to get by, because dancing is not her forte, but they did it in a way where she could still look very good doing it. And she did a very good job as far as the stage presence. She looked energetic, she looked excited to be there, her vocals were on point where they needed to be, so I had an appreciation for that performance. I did have to look at the dancers a few times to see what they were doing, to see what she was supposed to be doing, but she stepped it up this year. I don't know if it's because she saw who was on the bill and who would be performing, and she was like, let me bring it, because I don't want nobody talking trash about me. But she brought it with that first performance, and I enjoyed it. It was the more up-tempo EDM track, so the Where Have You Been and the Only Girl in the World, so it was a great performance. It was a lot of fun to watch. Very energetic for a show opening, and I got nervous because at first I was like, is this it? And they were like, no, she has three more performances. I said, oh, okay, 3 more, so this is going to be the Rihanna show. After Rihanna performed, Ariana Grande and Nicki Minaj came out. And I think Ariana has had better performances. I think her performance from 2014's VMAs was much better. That's the one where she did Problem, and then in the end, her, Nicki, and Jessie did Bang Bang. Very energetic performance, a lot of fun. This one, kind of forgettable. I didn't even remember that they had performed until I looked at my notes before I did this video. I was like, oh yeah, they did perform, huh? Like, it was very forgettable. What I liked was the staging looked cool, and the colors and the gadgets, and I liked the idea of what they tried to do with the whole dancing on the little machines and the bike machine and doing the barbells and stuff. But what happened was the performance just didn't have any energy. And then vocally, Ariana wasn't really at her best. And so she was kind of out of breath, because that breath control, I think, is something she could probably still work on a little bit. And so it just wasn't really that great. And then even with Nicki coming out, I thought Nicki was going to, bring the energy and hype it up. Nicki was up there like she didn't feel like being there. Like Ariana called her like, man, can you please do these VMAs with me? And Nicki was like, all right, damn, man, I got to turn Roseanne off and go do this shit. Okay. And so Nicki came out there, and even with her walking on the stage, there was no, there was no authoritative command. She was walking around the stage like she was at Macy's, just shopping, looking at the clothes. You try to get in Macy's and walk past that perfume aisle, because every time you walk in Macy's, all the perfume people come and attack you. Like she wasn't having it. Nicki was just real mellow. So I was like, what's going on with Nicki? So, she's had better performances. But overall, the song isn't too bad. I enjoyed the song, but that performance they could have kept. After Ariana performed, Alicia Keys came out. And I do want to say this about Alicia Keys before I say the other part about Alicia Keys. A lot of people are criticizing her because she's doing the whole natural thing and she's not wearing makeup. I don't see what the issue is. I think it's very bold that Alicia Keys can be authentic and be true to herself and be transparent and recognize that in an era where everybody's getting lip injections and Botox and butt injections and all type of fillers and all kind of surgeries and operations, and a lot of people are walking around looking like aliens, and a lot of people are constantly presenting themselves to be one thing on social media, but they don't look like that in real life. For her to kind of go out and say, this is what people really look like, I think it's a good thing, because it helps people who have low self-esteem feel good about themselves and recognize that you can't always try to compare yourself to some of these celebrities and entertainers, because one, you don't get the budget that they get to look as great as they do. So you have to embrace who you are and everything like that. So I appreciate Alicia for doing that. What I will say, I found it interesting that Alicia decided to do her specific poem at the VMAs, because here's my thing about Alicia. Alicia's somebody who wants to be deep at every event and everything. Alicia's going to find a way to get a poem out. She's going to find a way to do a poem. But the thing is, Alicia's always super deep, but she's at a venue with a shallow audience. They don't want to hear none of that. They are not trying to hear anything like that. Now, I get a kick out of it, but to be honest, when you're looking at the venue of what she's doing, they don't want to hear that. And the thing about Alicia is, like, Alicia is super deep. Like, I would hate to go to a skating ring that she DJs for, because she's not going to play no fun songs. It's going to be like an instrumental with Still I Rise playing. But I appreciate Alicia for, once again, being somebody who speaks out about things and being somebody who's very transparent and not afraid to do the unpopular thing. So it's kudos to her. Now, she didn't have to sing at the end. I don't know what that was about, because, woo, I mean, she got the hollering and welling. What you doing? What you doing, Alicia? We were doing good. It's bad enough as the VMAs. Everybody in there just wants to fist pump and jump and party. And she's like, I need y'all to mellow down, because I want to start with a poem. I said, oh, Lord, God, Alicia. Okay, so yeah, Alicia, I appreciate you for always being deep, but the VMAs is a shallow event and nobody has the energy for what you were trying to do. But I appreciate you, and we're here. You just gotta understand the masses ain't here for it. But I'm cool with Alicia. And I'm mad that y'all let In Common. Y'all did not let In Common be great. I enjoyed that song. Y'all just said, nope, we don't like it. I felt like that should have been a hit, in my opinion. Anyway, so Future performed. Here's my thing about Future. I have seen him perform, well, I didn't go because I ain't paying for it, but I've seen it on YouTube and I've seen it on people's Snapchats and Instagram. He has a very live and hype show if you're there. I mean, people jumping in. It's like there's an energy that's there. But for some reason, when he performs at award shows, I never seem to see that. Like the BET Awards he did this past year, I was like, yo, what you doing? You let designer come and jack your style and outperform you that year. And so every time he performs, he's just very here, just try. And the thing about it was, everything else on the stage was right. The stage looked really cool. I liked the color scheme and the red and everything. The music was blasted. All that was there, but he just had no energy for some reason. And what gets me about a lot of these newer rappers is there's too much emphasis on the swag and the image that they have, but there's not enough emphasis on what they can do on the stage as rappers. I know as rappers, there's already not a whole lot you're doing, because one, you're not singing. You probably don't do too much dancing, because dancing is corny for a lot of people who are super hardcore and big rap heads. They don't want to see no dancing, just straight street, just do the song or whatever. But, there's already not a whole lot you can do, but at least have some energy. He could have had a band. You know how dope that song would have sounded with a live band? And I was also confused that he performed that song, because that song is like old. I thought he would have at least done what's the other one? Whatever that song is. I thought he would at least did that. But he did the whole F of some commas. I was like, oh, we still on this? Okay, cool. I guess that's the only song white people know, so that's what MTV must have requested. But, he doesn't have a lot of energy. So when it comes to the live award shows, he always drops the ball with me. But again, when I've seen people post clips from his concerts, I mean, he's jumping and bouncing off walls and the whole audience is lit and everything like that. So I'm like, why don't you bring that to the VMAs? My thing is, as much as I always critique the VMAs is probably one of the 4 larger award shows that everybody's breaking their neck to get on. The Grammys, BET Awards, AMAs, VMAs. Those are the 4 that really call all the shots. Billboard Awards are kind of cool sometimes, but and Teen Choice Awards, we ain't really watching that. But like, when you get the opportunity to be on those shows, can you bring it, please? Like, don't just be on there like it's another day at the club. All right, y'all, let's go and do this. Hey, I'm gonna get my boys, we're gonna perform. That crap was dry, man. And I like Future depending on what day of the week it is. But today I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. So after Future performed, Kanye came out. And Kanye did his Kanye thing. And you know what I was thinking? Wouldn't that be interesting if they let Kanye come out there and just do his whole Kanye thing every year? Like, could you picture him being like 87 years from now and up there just rambling? That would be some entertaining stuff. He premiered his video for, what was the song again? I forgot. I don't even know if I wrote it down. Oh, I don't know. But I just remember that Tiana Taylor was in it, and she won tonight. I tell you, she won. For her to have just had a kid, I was like, yo, like that was I was very entertained. I'll say that. I was heavily entertained by that video, but just watching her, she definitely got it in. She's somebody that's very underrated, and I think she should be a bigger entertainer. I wish she would have had something that she could have released tonight, because it definitely was shot up to the top of iTunes if she would have done that. And it was real dope. I really appreciated that. As far as Kanye's speech, I don't know what he was talking about. He was just kind of talking about a little bit of everything, and it's like you kind of had to just piece stuff together and make your own message out of it. But, you know, Kanye's going to do Kanye. I did see the concert clip from the latest tour. I like the idea of him not having a stage and him just kind of floating over the audience. But, man, listen, if you're one of those people with a floor seat and you're directly under his little floating platform, I know that neck has to be hurting. Can you just looking like this for 2.5 hours. That crap has to be the most... Man, I feel bad for them when they woke up for work the next day. Moving on. So after Kanye did his bit, Rihanna came out for part 2. And so she did kind of like her whole dance hall bit. And I enjoyed this performance as well. This was a lot of fun to watch because it was like a big giant party. And going back to what I said about Rihanna's performances getting better, like I said, this was fun one to watch. She was dancing. She looked like she was having fun. And I think she was also just basking in the fact that the night was really supposed to be about her. And she felt like she was appreciated. So she had a lot of fun. The dance hall, I enjoyed, Work and Rude Boy and the songs that she performed. I kind of wish she would have added, what's the song? Won't say a thing. Dun, dun. What is that song called? Ooh, baby, baby. Dun, dun. Whatever that song is. I enjoyed that. Oh, wait, Watch and Learn. That's my ish. They could have let her do that. I would have been real happy. But so she did that. Now the only thing that makes me laugh about Rihanna, every time she performs work, when she does that little that crap is so funny to me because she never gets the note right, and I just always think of like a lawnmower, somebody getting a line of just go on, Ree, sing. But I enjoyed it, and once again the fashions were dope, and it's just and what I liked about tonight is that all 4 of her performances were very different visually. So the fashions and everything that she brought to the table, I appreciated that. I'm giving Rihanna a lot of compliments. If you follow me, this is growth. This is a lot of growth here. So after Rihanna performed, Nick Jonas performed. I kind of missed some of his performance, but I like that he tried to do something different. And honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a bad Nick Jonas performance. He always tries to step the ante up or step up some. And the thing about him is he knows his lane, he stays in it. He doesn't try to do too much. He knows what his element is. He makes it work. I like that. A lot of people are starting to do these performances where they kind of move around a different set. I think Pink might have been the first one to do that back in, was that 09, 08 when she did was it So What? I think that's the first time I've seen somebody like doing a performance where they're moving all around different places and different sets and it's live. There might be somebody before her, but I think she's the first one I remember doing it. But a lot of people are doing that now. And overall, his band was excellent. That was an excellent performance for the musicality and everything. So you know what, Nick Jonas, I'm not big on him. I don't really know his music like that. I get him and the little Zayn guy mixed up, but I appreciate that Nick Jonas wants to continue to bring something different to the table. So that's dope. After Nick performed, oh God, we can take 10 minutes just to talk about Beyonce. No, I'm just kidding. So Beyonce performs, and a lot of people were very, very excited about her performance because one, Beyonce doesn't do a lot of award shows. And, the last time she did the VMAs, she kind of did like a whole medley of the last album, the Beyonce album. So this one, a lot of people were hyped about what she was going to do about Lemonade. And I'll say this, overall I like the performance. There's not really a lot of Beyonce performances I don't like. The only Beyonce performance I can think of where I was like, you could have stayed home today, is probably when she sang the little Precious Lord, Take My Hand at the Grammys, and when she did Drunken Love at the Grammys. It was like both of those could have stayed home. But overall, the cool thing about Beyonce, and the thing that people, I think, flock to when it comes to Beyonce and performances, is that Beyonce incorporates two elements. One, she's already super talented and has the showmanship and the stage presence, and you know, she can sing live, she can do a little two-step and dance, and she can do all that. So the element of the talent and the overall commanding of the stage is there. But in addition to doing that, she will go and get a creative director, and they're going to give you a visually astounding show. They're going to give you all kind of new little tricks and treats with technology, and you're going to see video screens and different lighting, and there's going to be 1,000 dancers, and the lasers are going to do this, and there's going to be smoke here, there's going to be a 3D graphic here. It's a bunch that goes on. And so she takes both of those elements and puts it together. What happens with a lot of her peers are, they usually do one or the other. Usually, maybe the focus is on the talent, but visually the performance is kind of dry. Or there's a lot of entertainers who have lots of smoke and mirrors and visual things, but the talent is just not there and it's very forgettable. So they get drowned out by what's going on the stage with them. Now, in fairness, or to be fair to these other entertainers, Beyonce has a machine that works behind her as far as her team and the money that goes into what she does. So a lot of these other entertainers are never going to get that opportunity. There aren't going to be too many entertainers where they can just say, I'm going to do my whole album, and you're going to watch it at MTV or BET or the other networks. So like, okay, sure. But Beyonce's gotten herself to a point where she can do that. So she kind of gets like a golden pedestal that she gets to stand on when it comes to her standards of performances versus other people. Because other people, the labels and everything like that, they're just not going to put the money into those performances, which kind of sucks for the other people. But for Beyonce, it's great for her and her super fans. But overall, the performance I enjoyed. I think my favorite part out of that entire show, honestly enough, was the opening. I really liked the Pray You Catch Me song. And then Formation was a great way to kind of close it out too. Excellent energy. She got it in. I'm not mad at her. You know, a lot of fun to watch. It kind of sucks to be anybody who had to perform after that, because she kind of just, she does her thing. I like when she performs the up-tempos a little bit more, or some of her older up-tempos. A lot of her newer content is very mid-tempo, very, you know, but it's an element of the artist that she's kind of, or the artist that she's become. You know, her music has developed a little bit more where it's not all commercial, and now she would like for you to think and listen to the lyrics and stuff like that. So overall, you know, I'm not even going to try to say anything bad about the performance because I like my life. No, I was kidding. But overall, the performance, there were some moments where I was like, okay, all right, you get a little boring, but then she'd wake it back up. But overall, she has set the standard so high for other performers in her peer group. And I think what it is Beyonce came out when all the legends were out. You know what I mean? So when she came out in '98, she had already been studying all the greats before her. So she had studied the Whitneys, and she studied the Tinas, and she studied the Janets, and she studied the Madonnas, and she studied the Michaels and the Princes and everybody else. And so it's like she took a lot of notes as a child, and they trained her and worked her. And so when she's performing to the same standard of what those people were doing back in the day. Because a lot of the stuff that the people are doing today, they would have not been able to get away with it on a stage 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But for her, I feel like she makes her standard so high that she recognizes that when I perform, I'm gonna bring it. So a lot of these other entertainers, y'all listen, y'all have to step it up. I know it kind of sucks because you don't have the same funding and the same machine behind you that she does, but do something. Right after Beyonce performed, I remember I was praying and I was like, God, please, if you love Britney, don't let her have to perform after Beyonce, because I can already see where this is gonna go. Please, if you love her, just let there be like two people in between to just buffer. Because at that moment, after Beyonce performed, the energy was just Beyonce land, Twitter's Beyonce's queen, all that mess. And so I was like, Britney's gonna lose this. And I was like, to be honest, Britney has a special place in my heart because there's a nostalgia when I see her perform, because I remember you know, how big she was when I was in middle school and stuff like that. And she was a very excellent performer back in the day. Now, I can't speak for a lot of her performances of the past 10 years because, listen, I don't know what they did to that girl with the whole conservatorship, or I don't know if they put drugs in the girl's cereal, but Britney ain't been the same in a long time, alright? Sometimes she's not speaking in complete sentences, and you look at her and you feel like she doesn't know what day of the week it is, and then other moments she's just on another one. I'm like, what the f is up with Britney, man? What is up? What did y'all do to this girl? Because I'm like, how do you go from the In the Zone era where she was bouncing and and then out of nowhere it's like she can't dance anymore, she's not confident. So I was very nervous about this performance. And so she starts, and she does the song Make Me off her latest album. I'm like, okay, I kind of like the song. Now I will say this. They honestly should have just let Britney stand behind that curtain or that sheet they had, because that's when she was the most confident. That shadow was getting it in. And then as soon as that thing came up, I was like, oh shoot. And so the first half of the performance, she was still kind of doing her little thing, and she actually moved her knees a little bit. She did a few little hair flips. I said, oh, okay, all right. Britney got a little bit of personality. Okay, cool. And so the performance wasn't bad. By Britney standards, and I mean Britney standards of the last 10 years, for her it was a decent performance. She did okay, she had some energy, she actually did a little bit of choreography, and she did more than hand choreography, because you know Britney, she doesn't use the rest of her body anymore. She just does this hand thing she does here. And so she was doing all this and all that mess, and so it's like, okay, cool, but she actually did a little bit more than that. I don't know who G-Eazy is, I really don't. Y'all school me on that, because I have never heard of him in my life. But so Britney was all right. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It was just all right. But by Britney standards, for what she's done in the last 10 years, it was great. Because if you remember the performances from the Femme Fatale era and the Circus tour and the Circus era and the Femme lots of progress. I think her being in Vegas has given her a lot of practice and stage presence. I don't know. I'm telling you, they did something to that girl. Something is wrong with her up here. And I feel bad. The entertainment business really exploited that girl, and then she's never been the same. Anyway. Then Rihanna came out for the third performance. I didn't care for this one that much. The vocal was off. I was like, what are you doing? And then, listen, that last note, Rihanna, this is why, actually, let me rephrase this. When you are in the class of non-singing singers, and that class includes people like Rihanna, as much as I love Janet, she's in that, Madonna's in that, Sierra's in that. You know, I'll throw some of these new, who else? Who are some of the males? Because I don't want to just bash all the women. Jeremiah, Jason Derulo, all of them. When they do sing live, it's very smart to rehearse and go over each and every note that they're going to attempt. That way when they perform, they're doing what they know and what they're comfortable doing. For some reason, I think that the last note Rihanna tried, she got excited. She was feeling herself and said, oh, I'm going to show them entertainment. And she tried to do some kind of note. What you doing? No. But that performance, forgettable. That was my least favorite. That's where she did the pour it up. And I think the Be Better Have My Money, I didn't really care for that one. Visually, I liked the idea of what they were trying to do with the dancers and stuff. But, you know, it was one of her lesser performances out of the four. After that, the Chainsmokers performed. I don't know who they are, but they did sound like they were chain smoking because, listen, vocally, I enjoyed the song. I was like, this song ain't too bad. I like the song, but the girl was extremely sharp, and either she was very under the note or over the note, but it was like, ugh. And you know how, like, with the award shows now, where they have everything in the mic feed playing straight into the TV, and it's not in the same feed as, like, the band and everything, so you could really hear the emphasis in her voice, and I'm like, what is she doing? And then old boy kept going flat at the end of his notes. I'm like, what? All right, so they were okay, and they kept singing about something about they don't want it to end, and I said, let the song end, please. Just let it end, all right? Because we've already seen Beyonce, so at this point, it's hard for anybody else to go after that. And, like, it just, I don't know. But the song overall, I enjoyed the song, whatever it was. I'm going to go look for it, because it was a little fun, funky little song, and I appreciate it, but that performance they could have kept. Chainsmokers. The irony. All right, what else happened? Okay, and then basically, long story short, Rihanna closes the show, and she does the ballad section of the show. And I actually really appreciated this set because she really was able to showcase what she can do vocally. I don't think she's the best singer in the world, and I don't think she's a terrible singer, but I think she has just enough voice to get by, and when she finds her right pocket, she could do good work. So whenever she performs Love on the Brain, she usually sounds really good. If she ever does Stay, she usually sounds really good. And the Diamonds, I think, was the highlight of that performance. I think she did really great on those. She sounded excellent. There were some moments where I'm like, okay, but overall, it was great, and I think everything from what she wore, she got it in. And so Rihanna, I definitely have to give you kudos tonight because you definitely have stepped it up as an entertainer. And so when it comes to performing, it's like you finally, I feel like, have gotten the gist of what you should be doing as an entertainer. Because for someone like Rihanna who has that many albums and that many hits, there's a certain expectation of what you would want for her to do when it comes to her stage performances. And so I think she's finally getting there. It's a shame that we have to have this conversation because back in the day, the standard was you already had to have that before you even got signed. But, you know, different day, different age. And at the end of the day, she's done a lot of work in the last 10, 11 years, and she's really put it in. And as much as a lot of people like to give her flack for not really being as hands-on in her career, I think in the last few years, she's really taken an effort to step it up and really just do what she does. So kudos to Rihanna. Overall, That's the awards show. I do have to shout out one person because I felt so bad when I didn't realize, or when I realized you shouted me out in the video and I didn't even see it. I felt so bad. But TD6, I rock with you. You have been on my channel and subscribed for years, and mind you, you should subscribe to her channel too. Her channel's a million times larger than mine. She got like 200,000 subscribers. I ain't nowhere near that. But she has always been very supportive, and she gives you a very transparent experience if you go to her channel, and she's a very honest and very nice person. So follow her and subscribe to her if you get a chance. And also Julius, I rock with you too. That's Julius from Maryland. I forgot what your YouTube thing is, but you know who you are. Anyway, I'm out. Subscribe. Deuces.